and welcome to Isaac and The Lich's Tabletop Stories. Grab your elven wine and sit for a while. Today's story comes from yesterday's D&D session as of January 10th, 2019. I am running Curse of Strahd, a fun but difficult module that's pretty open world with some railroading involved. So spoiler warning just a tad. It's horror themed, which is fun for all the scare buffs in our group. However, the three people that had come to game that day were all the crowns of our group. So, to go from least weird to most weird in order, my friend Trey Blowski plays a tiefling fighter where Trey's normal goofic antics involved. Zach, who plays a lizard folk barbarian paladin, whose name is some pretentious shit, so we call her Colgate. And then it comes to Alwich's character. Now, the specs alone on this thing aren't too abnormal. Warlock gnome with decent stats. What makes this character stand out is honestly borderline insanity and genius in one package. If you've seen the show Gravity Falls, you get the gist of where this is going. This gnome had a raccoon familiar named Sasha. As part of his pact, he had to eat garbage, and was as cartoon hillbilly as one could get. Oh, and his name is Buckskin Charlie. All that coupled with Alwich's own role-playing skills, and hoo boy, it gets fun. Now, I chose to mix up multiple adventure hooks on my run. I started my players in a tavern in Daggerford, waiting to go join Lady Morin for dinner. The city is covered in fog, the cobblestone roads are slick and mirror-like. The lamps flicker in the foggy evening. Suddenly, the tavern door swings open, and a colorful dressed man walks up to the players' table and presents the players with a letter addressed to the whole party. He informs them that his master requests their presence and then buys the tavern around before leaving. I inform my players it's time for them to go to dinner at Lady Morwen's place. The players finish their drinks before leaving, but notice a crimson-dressed man watching them from behind a pair of peculiar glasses. One of the players notice a hint of glowing red from the man's eyes. Buckskin Charlie stares back at the man with a giant mug of goat's milk, and smiles and drinks at him. The man smiles and drinks his own drink. To Buckskin Charlie's mind, he just made a friend. They make it to Lady Morwen's mansion for dinner, and it would appear that there is a slight problem in her lands, as a band of roving people have showed up on their doorstep. This in and of itself is no problem, except the tent dwellers are harassing passers-by for gold and wine, and threatening to hex anyone who refuses. She asks the party to tell the gypsies to leave, or she'll burn their tents to the ground. Before they can do that, though, the peculiar man in red shows up and addresses her ladyship, requesting a word with the party. Lady Morin addresses the man as Nosferatu backwards. I'm not pronouncing that because I tried in-game and I just couldn't, and that's a feat for a name with me. The party are taken to a study where an elderly woman, smoking a cigar, waits for them. She reveals that she is Katarina Recton, the Recton Organization, a group of monster hunters that would like the party to search for their founder in Barovia. The party asks why they are being asked for this. She tells them they are being asked because they have already been invited to the country. The party doesn't know this because they haven't taken nor had time to read the letter they received. Finally reading it, they find out that they have indeed been invited to Barovia. The organization has had their weapons silvered for them because they know the country of Barovia is infested with horrible terrors of the night. Trey's character makes a comment about being afraid of vampires. The man in crimson leans over beside him with an impish smirk on his face. Goldgate asks the man if she can help the man in red. He says nothing and continues to lean over next to Trey's character. Yes, this is a Helsing reference. Sue me. I like the manga. After the discussion, the party ventures to the Vistani camp and delivers their message. The elder of the Vistani, Stenimir, asks them to sit and listen to his tale. He tells how his people once took in a wounded soldier and cared for them. They helped him home and discovered he was a prince. For the Vistani's kindness, he gave them wealth and a safe haven in his kingdom. However, he spoke of how a dark curse had come upon their beloved prince, and begs the party to come with him to Barovia and speak to their leader, Madame Eva. The party, getting the hint that someone or something really wanted them to go to Barovia, decided to stay the night with the Vistani. During the night, a dense fog covers the camp, transporting the party into Barovia. They find themselves in a different Vistani camp and are rushed to Madame Eva to have their fortunes read. There they discover they must defeat an evil force, Strahd. Find the means to defeat him. There are 3 items in Strahd characters are supposed to gather in order to defeat Strahd. Strahd's diary, aka the Tome of Strahd, Strahd's mother's amulet, the crest of Ravenkind, and the Holy Smite Sword or Sun Sword. The players get these 3 cards in order. The Swashbuckler, which tells the players the item is in a place with a skeleton of a deadly warrior surrounded by gargoyles. The Warrior, which tells the party the item is in the Womb of Darkness, the Devil's Lair, the place to which he must return. And the Torturer, that tells them that the item is in a town that is where all is not well. There you will find a house of corruption, and within a room filled with still ghosts. Then for the foe, Strahd, to help them they receive the artifact card that tells them to look for an entertaining man with a monkey. And the final card reveals where Strahd waits for the party in the library for the final confrontation. After this, the party is directed to go to Barovia, a village aptly named after the country. I guess it's kind of like New York, New York. Bad jokes aside, the party travels for a couple of days to the village. They hear loud wailing, though, as they enter town and see everyone dressed in black. Believing it was just a normal funeral, the players go to the tavern. There they find Ismark, whose last name the players recognize from the letter they received. The players talk with Ismark and show him the letter. Ismark explains it wasn't his father who wrote the letter. Ismark asks the player if they can help him get his sister to safety, and explains that she is in danger from the devil Strahd. The players ask Ismark about the wailing in town. He explains that a woman called Mad Mary had lost her daughter and had been crying since. The players tell Ismark they will get back to him on helping him save his sister. Before leaving the tavern, Buckskin Charlie buys a jug of goat's milk to give Mad Mary as condolence for her loss. Arriving at Mad Mary's, the party found her house boarded up from the inside. Colgate managed to get the woman to let the party in. Buckskin Charlie decided to dig through Mad Mary's trash with his raccoon while the other 2 talked to Mary. They spot that Mad Mary is carrying a doll with the label "Is no fun, is no Belinsky" from Velaki, which they learn from Mad Mary by asking her about the doll. After digging through her trash and giving their condolences, they left Mad Mary's house and left her the jug of goat milk. They headed to the burgomaster's mansion. When they find the mansion, it is in bad shape. It has claw marks everywhere, trampled footmarks from zombies, and a whole host of trouble. It looked more like a castle under siege than someone's home. The party has some initial resistance for Irina, Ismark's sister. The party is able to gain entrance after some role-playing and a natural 20. I would have let them in anyway, as in the role-playing section, the players made their characters appear goofy as possible, making it clear that there is no way the players were working for or under control of Strahd. especially after Buckskin Charlie held up his raccoon and asked if its face would lie to Arena. Arena let the party in and gives them tea. The party sees the burgomaster is dead and are informed that he died 3 days ago from a heart attack. Arena knows her brother wants to run to safety, but she refuses to go anywhere until her father is buried. The party agrees to help her bury her father. The party, along with Ismark, Arena's brother, take the body to the church. The church itself is in tatters, and the people seem to avoid it like the plague. I wonder why. Once inside, the party hear the low prayers of a single priest, followed with the painful outcries from the undergraft. The priest introduces himself as Donovich, and informs the party that the screams below are his son. Donovich tells the party that his son has been turned into a vampire spawn, and sent to torment the priest and bring down his church. The party attempt to think of a way to return the priest's son to a human state. They can think of nothing. They decide it really isn't their problem at the moment and leave it be, opting instead to ask for a burial for the burgomaster. The priest obliges and they bury him. After the funeral, night begins to fall, and the party are allowed to stay the night at the church. However, during the night, a group of zombies attacks and breaking down the door. The party bottlenecks the zombies and initiative rolls. Zack goes, then Trey, then the zombies, and last Owlwitch. Zack and Trey do some damage on the zombies on their turns. Then, on the zombies' turns, they attempt to hit Colgate, but to no avail. Even a natural 19 cannot hit Zack's character, as it has an AC of 24. Now here is where I will break the story from the story for a moment and state this. For the entire game up to this point, I had no idea that Zack was playing a lizard folk. He had told me his class and stats, but not his race or class features he had chosen. Now I believe players should be absolutely transparent with the DM about their character. It helps the DM build the narrative around said character and build encounters accordingly. In all truth, this was honestly an underhanded way to build a character so I wouldn't limit his build. If you're a DM and you have a player do this to you, don't lose control. Calmly talk this over with your player and tell them how you feel. Players like Zack may not do it entirely out of malice, and it shouldn't be taken that way. To be fair, he did ask if I had any stipulations on builds. I said no. A mistake on my part. However, I did not think he would take that to mean he could build something crazy. Now, if you encounter something like this, there is always a weakness. Thankfully in D&D, if you are a shrewd and cunning DM, you can work around this. If a character has high AC, simply throw a bunch of save spells at them from appropriate CR casters. Or, challenge rating casters. Now back to the story. As the fight seems to be going well for the players, their characters hear evil laughter. Zack and the others feel their characters are safe because Strahd can't enter a building if he isn't invited by an occupant. However, they forgot about the vampire spawn right underneath them occupying the same building. The spawn invites his master in, and Strahd flies into the church as a cloud of mist. Behind Zack and Trey's character, next to Buckskin Charlie. As this is happening, Buckskin Charlie announces, "We got us a swooshy motherfucker." Buckskin Charlie fires a crossbow at Strahd and misses, then puts up a cloak of flies. Now, cloaks of flies makes it so nothing can get close to your character without taking poison damage. There's one problem with this, actually two. One, Strahd and his zombies are immune to poison damage. Two, Buckskin Charlie can't get help from his party. So, our hillbilly gnome warlock is now 1v1 with Strahd von Zarovich. Let's boogie. On Strahd's first turn, he fireballs the party. The party makes their save, but still take half damage. Buckskin Charlie tries Dissonant Whispers, but Strahd easily makes the DC. Zack and Trailer are still occupied with zombies. On Strahd's second turn, he attacks Buckskin Charlie with 2 fist strikes and then a bite. Strahd hits with all 3, but gets an opportunity attack from Sasha. Both Buckskin Charlie and Sasha must make con saves not to turn into vampires. They pass, but Buckskin is in rough shape. On Owlwitch's next turn, she has the character disengage. Trey starts trying to flirt with Strahd, and Zack decides to stop fighting zombies and take his wing at Strahd. The two go at it, but Strahd appears to take no damage, even after a crit with a smite of 48 damage and biting some of Strahd's cheek off. Tired and confused with the adventurers, Strahd leaves to plot his next attack on the adventurers. The party rests for the night, and that ends the story for now. Subscribe to find out how this band of misfits survives, or not, and leave a like and a comment if you please. Thank you. Bye.